we've cracked the code in terms of DM setting, in terms of booking calls and booking appointments, closing deals. So today I'm going to share you the system that we use ourselves, and we also teach to our clients how we can book 20 plus qualified calls per month. So buckle up and let's get started. So we're going to go over a few things today. We're going to go deep. Like I said, it's going to be an action or like a full session. So please make sure to stick till the end. But what you will learn, we go over ghosting. So I'm sure most of y'all, you have conversations with leads in the DMs, but at some point people ghost. So I'm going to go over the hidden reason why your follow-ups might fall flat. I'm also going to share with you the 7 steps to consistent booking. So I'm going to show you our proven DM framework to book 20 plus calls or chats per month. I'm going to go over how to build instant report. So how you can start conversations in a meaningful way without sounding salesy. I know that's a big pain point for some of y'all. I'm going to teach you and show you how to follow up like a pro. I'm going to help you to overcome DM anxiety. So how to confidently handle objections and awkward conversations. And yeah, all in all, I'm just going to share you the DM secrets that convert, learn the exact strategies our clients use daily. So a little bit of housekeeping. There is a big Q&A at the end of the session, but if you have questions as I'm talking, just drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section, and then I will just make sure to once in a while just scroll up and see if I can pull something on the screen and just have an interactive session. Besides the value that I'm sharing, talking to y'all, there are a few bonuses that I can give away. So stick to the end if you want to get access to those. The first one is a case study of how warm outreach led to cash collected. So I'm breaking down how that works. So it's a very short but very specific and detailed video. I'm also going to give away how we use ChatGPT to help with the LinkedIn DMs. I'm going to give away our LinkedIn DM course, our exact 7-step protocol. And following up on that, no pun intended, I'm going to give away our 6-step follow-up system. So if you want to get access to these resources, make sure to stick to the end. All right. And as usual, and I think especially today, this is important because this deck has so many like examples. So if you want to receive this training deck, so the PDF you're literally looking at right now, comment training in the comment section, and then I will make sure to send that to you after the session. Awesome. Cool. All right. So if you need this deck already, comment training below. So I'm going to go into the problem straight away. So of course, we're going to talk about DMs today, but what is the problem actually here? So what do we see happening a lot with DMing, with having conversations through DM, is that whenever we have conversations, leads goes after outreach. And what's the problem? What's the root cause of this problem? Well, outreach feels transactional and not conversational. There is no system to nurture leads effectively, and prospects lose interest due to delayed follow-ups. So if that's you, if you're nodding your head right now and you have this problem, okay, you're in the right spot because I'm going to show you how to solve that. Secondly, what I see happening a lot with DMs and LinkedIn messaging is that people don't do follow-ups because follow-ups feel salesy. And they think that pushy messages repel potential clients. They only do generic follow-ups, so they fail to build trust. And definitely a lack of personalization reduces response rates. So if that's like you, if you don't want to send follow-ups because you feel you're too salesy, stick around. And then problem number 3 is that this is the most common one. The people that I talk to, the people that start working with us, the people that join our program, is that they don't have a framework for DMs. So you're basically winging it with every conversation. Yeah, your messaging lacks structure and flow, and conversations don't lead to book calls. So as you can see, one of our clients, she's fairly big on LinkedIn. She has like a good brand and a good content game going out. However, she was like, hey, I just got the dream lead inbound, but can you help me manage the conversation? So people on different levels of the LinkedIn game are like, hey, I need some help with DMs. So again, if that's you, you're in the right place today here. So why listen to me about LinkedIn DMs? After all, I'm just a stranger from the internet, right? Perhaps some of y'all have joined some of the live sessions, but let me share a little bit more. So in the last 24 hours, that will be a nice achievement. Now, in the last 24 months, I've closed over $250,000 using LinkedIn DMs alone. As you can see here, some of the Stripe screenshots, and this is like most of the clients that we close through DMs kind of looks like this. Like, hey, it's paid. let's go. As you can see, the then client was very excited. Let's roll. Looking forward to the work and the leads. Awesome work. Awesome, mate. Welcome. Emailed you. So yeah, I would say I do know a bit of a thing or two about LinkedIn DMs. So why am I sharing this with you today? Well, my name is Jesse van Breugel, super Dutch surname, as I shared a few times before. Hence, at some point, I added the purple dot. Well, what I do is I help business owners get to 10K plus months on LinkedIn. I'm a top 50 creator in marketing and sales. Over the last few years, I've helped our clients generate over $1.55 million in client revenue on LinkedIn, build a fairly big audience of 49,000 people. And over the last few years, a multiple like 7 and 8 figure clients have trusted me and my team for their personal brand growth. Like in this process of like helping people with their LinkedIn game, the great partnership has given us great results. So as you can see here in the screen, Linda, we worked on a new offer together. Within 2 months, he closed her first 7.5K deal. Super good start. Our friend Michael, he landed a 7-figure customer in 12 weeks for his agency. Nicholas did great. Gabriel had some epic results in the first 4 weeks. Tobias, he closed over $50,000. Built his pipeline, 30 minutes a day of LinkedIn. Super good. So he literally told us like, yeah, my sales outreach or my sales activity has basically dropped to zero as he got the clients coming in. And our friend John, he closed 3 new clients, and as he said himself, just some marketing skills for life. Sorry, I got distracted because I looked at the chat, which I shouldn't do. Like I can't multitask that way. Anyways, so here today we are to how to book 20 plus high ticket chats per month. So it's the exact system that we've been testing a lot with this. And in the last 60 days, we booked 51 qualified chats using this exact system. So I think this stat from yesterday. So it very well might be like 54 or something, because like I said, the system is working like a charm. So hopefully you can get something away from it today and implement it into your own business. So the 3 main steps that I'm going to go over here today is the first one is outreach. I'm going to show you and teach you how you can reach out in a way that actually gets responses. I'm going to go over the DM process. I'm going to show and share with you a proven framework to move leads from a maybe to a let's talk. And I'm going to go over follow-up systems. You want to stay top of mind without being annoying or pushy. Part number 1, outreach. So the LinkedIn game is changing. So I don't know how long you guys have been on LinkedIn, but since 2023, there's definitely a change in reach and engagement, with some metrics showing a reduction of more than 50% compared to the previous years. And this has been the case across the board. So this is, of course, something that we need to be aware of, right? This is something that is happening all around. Like, sure, there are cases where reach and engagement is still off the board, but overall, I would say there is more competition on the feed, especially with the rise of AI content. So definitely the LinkedIn game is changing. I said this yesterday as well. In 2023, you could just literally post a hand raiser post, get inbound leads, and now that's not so easy anymore. So there's just more work to be done to get people into your inbox and let alone book the calls. So this comes down to the following aspect. So every piece of content you publish gives you an interaction, because every interaction is an opportunity to engage a lead. When you start pushing content, you will get engagement in terms of likes and comments, or even profile views, new connections, and new followers. You can reach out, or you will have to reach out to those people to start conversations. And with the insights of those conversations, you can create better content, get more engagement, have more outreach. You see, I talk a lot about flywheels in what we do, and this is one of the flywheels that you want to be mindful of. So I broke down this specific flywheel already: the content, the engagement, the outreach, the conversation. I broke that down in a case study. So this is like a 5-minute video where I go over how from warm outreach to client close. I go over the exact steps of that process. So which DMs I sent, why I sent certain DMs, how the lead and then later client replied on that. So if you want to get access to this private training, comment case study below and we can send it to you afterwards. Let me see. All right. So following up and reaching out to people is essential if you want to book calls on LinkedIn. You need to follow up with people that show any interest in your brand and content. And what do I mean with that? It's the people that like your post, comment on your post, get to your profile. You want to do this as soon as possible because you want to engage with them when the interest is high. And as you can see, I will come back to this specific example a bit later as well. But in this case, Linda followed me. So I'm like, hey, I appreciate the follow, Linda. Are you here for the content only or is getting leads one of your main goals on LinkedIn? Thanks for connecting. It's hard to pick one because both seem extremely valuable. She was spot on. Like it's both super important. So there was a trigger. Like she followed me. I reach out almost instantly because the power is in timing. So why would you want to do this? Why is warm outreach important? Well, first of all, it allows you to have a proactive approach. So you directly engage with potential leads, showing initiative, and interest. It also increases your visibility and exposure. This is a big one because when we look in like the statistics, this is the algorithm report from my fellow Dutchman, Richard van der Blom, where he talks about that whenever you DM with someone, the next time that their content is on your feed or your content on their feed is 70% higher. So super important. So if you want to be seen by certain people, DM them. So it's almost like a cheat code. And last but not least, the benefits of warm outreach is also established authority, because regular outreach keeps you top of mind among your audience, because that ties into number two. Like the more you DM with your audience, the more you are top of mind and you're literally top of inbox, right? So you stay relevant and you stay an authority. So I told you why it's important to outreach, right? But I think that kind of goes without saying. A bigger question on your mind might be, I get that, but when to send messages? And this is going to be a bit of a bigger element. So let's get started. So you see, I come back to this point. Reaching out helps you gauge intent. Find out if someone is interested in buying or still exploring. And this is where most people go wrong, because they're like, hey, I'm sending a DM, but how do I make the sale straight away? But that's not the thing. Like you're not the first DM is never about selling straight away. It's like start a conversation, start understanding, and then eventually it lead to conversation. So in this conversation with Linda, like I'm using this example because she became a client. She's currently in our program and she's getting absolutely great results. So I'm using that example. But yeah, I'm like, hey, is the lead side of things something you like to get some help with? And she's like, yes, I'm in the building phase. I'm definitely open to learning these things. Your insight will be valuable. So I'm almost asking for permission in order to expand on that, right? Like, hey, are you looking to get some help? Because I know I can help you, but hey, do you want some help, right? So I'm not selling or pitching something straight away. I'm just asking, we're having a conversation as just human beings. And this comes down to the following part. Like you have to, in order to have good DM conversations, you have to understand the type of lead. And this is what we like to call the lead cycle. So I'm going to go over these cycles one by one. So we have cold leads, engaged leads, warm leads, and inbound leads. And people are like, yeah, I don't have leads. Well, I will debunk that massively in this section. So if that's you, buckle up. So cold leads are people that you can contact, but they haven't engaged with your content yet. So in the context of LinkedIn, this is basically everyone that's on LinkedIn, but that does not know you. And LinkedIn has 1 billion active users. So you can imagine here that you have 1 billion cold leads, because you have the means to contact them, because you can literally send them a message on LinkedIn, but they have never engaged with your content yet. So they don't know who you are, hence they're cold. Not really the people we want to directly go after, right? Because you have to convince someone if they want to like talk to you, or convince them why they should listen to you, right? So yeah, some people go after cold leads all the time. It's not my preferred way of doing things, but it's important to know that there are cold leads you can go after. Secondly, is we have leads, and these people they do recognize your brand but remain passive, which means there is no meaningful engagement yet. So that means that if you have 400 followers and let's say you haven't posted on LinkedIn for the last 2 years, you have leads in that, because these people at some point they connected with you, they might recognize some of your brand, plus you have the means to contact them. You can literally send them a connection request, or sorry, a message, because you're already connected, right? You're following each other. So these people are leads, because leads are people that you have the means to contact. Still not the right people, right? Engaged leads, these are people that have started interacting with your content. So we can look at likes, comments, follows, new connections. So these people shown an interest of like, this other person might be of interest. So if you think back of the example here of, I have to go way back, like this. Linda came in as an engaged lead because he followed me, and then we started a conversation, right? So at some point I posted content that has hit her feed. She went to my profile, she clicked follow, right? So that's where she came into my world as an engaged lead. So she skipped these two things, right? It's super good, of course, but we want to move to a situation where we get warm leads, because these people, they show a clear intent to learn more or explore your services, e.g., requesting resources. So let's say you have a lead magnet post or responding to outreach, right? So these people, they know who you are, they started some interaction with you, and they also have shown some form of intent in what you offer, right? Super good. So warm leads is what we, of course, are after. And this is the thing, like people can evolve. Like from cold leads, they start to see your brand and your content. They like a post here and there. They inquire sometimes. So that's like the first flow of things. And then kind of parallel to this, we have inbound leads. And these people, it's more, it's something you can control less, because this is just a result of you putting out the work. Like if I've been posting on LinkedIn for 4 years, so I get inbound leads all the time because my content is like going around to the internet, and people see some of my posts, click on it, get to my profile, like, okay, this guy is helping me to get to 10K plus months on LinkedIn. I looked at his case studies, looks good. Let me send him a message, right? So these people just come in as a result of me putting out the work. So these people actively reach out to you, e.g., sending DMs, booking calls, asking for your offer, right? Of course, these are the people that we want to get the most of, but just know that the majority of your leads is this, like cold leads, engagement, or engaged leads, and warm leads. So just very good to understand that there are different types of leads. So why is this important? Like I said, different stages require different approaches to messaging. Lead quality varies even in the same cycle. Like I said, a cold lead is usually lesser quality than a warm lead because they just literally don't know who you are. And tailoring your approach increases your chance of conversion. What do I mean with that? You can say something different to a warm lead as to a cold lead, because a warm lead, they literally have an intent to learn more about your service. So you can be more expressive. You can perhaps crack a joke, but there also you can move faster almost. Like a cold lead is kind of like, who are you and why should I talk to you, right? Like let's say someone calls me on my phone with like a cold call, and I won't even pick up. But even if I pick up, I'm like, why should I listen to you? Whereas a warm lead, that's someone that I'm like actively following on LinkedIn for a while, or like Instagram, and I have interested in their profile, or sorry, in their offer. I like their post, and they reach out to me. Way warmer, right? So see, are you seeing where I'm going here? So how it's important to understand these lead cycles. Talking about warm leads, my tea gets cold when I'm presenting to you guys. So now I've got cold tea to stay on topic. Anyways, on to the rest. So this is something to apply it to LinkedIn, because perhaps the previous part was a bit abstract, but hear me out here. Not all leads are created equally. So if we look at the scale of things, like I've defined 9 ways of getting leads on LinkedIn, they're not created equally. So we can assume here that the more we go down, the higher the intent. So someone that books a call is of course way more intent, has a way higher intent of like doing something with you than someone that just likes a post. Like liking a post could literally be like a slip of their thumb and they liked your post. Like how many posts do you know at the end of the day that you've liked? But you do remember the call that you booked. So people that like, comment, view your profile, our new followers, our connection requests, these can be considered engaged leads. So think back of the example I shared from Linda. Then what we do is through outreach, which I had to reach out to her. Otherwise, nothing would have happened. Having the conversation, I turned that engaged lead into a warm lead, and from a warm lead into a client, right? Whereas at the same time, I have leads that are just coming into my world as a result of like me putting out content for ages. An opt-in, a contact form, an inbound DM, a booked call, right? I want to have more of these, of course, but these kind of happen as a result of like doing the work, whereas these are also doing a result of the work, but this is more controllable. The more content I push out, the better the content, the more likes I get, the more people I reach out to. You see, this is very controllable. This is literally a numbers game. The more you have it, the more you do it, the more leads you get, the more clients you get, etc. Right? So it definitely becomes a number game. And even with this, the better your content, the more engagement you have, the more people get to your profile, the more you grow your brand. It's all just a flywheel. So I already tackled a lot. I told you why it's important to do outreach. I told you to say or to when you have to do outreach, but I didn't tell you what to say. So we're going to go one layer deeper here. What types of messages to send? And this comes down to intent. So I'm bringing up the same visual as before, but now with different labels. So because as leads move through the cycle from cold to inbound, then intent naturally increases. Like I said, low intent, high intent, and your approach should adjust accordingly. So on average, we can say that the people who like your comment are low intent. They're still important, but they're less of a buyer intent than people that comment, profile view, new connection, a new follower, and connection request. Why? Because there's more commitment and effort needed. Like a like is very simple. Like click a comment, someone has to think or has to even put it through AI. Profile view, there is an action needed, etc. You see. So whenever you like prioritizing reaching out to people, start with the high intent and work your way down. Right. Again, sending the messages is very important. All comes down to intent. So that brings me to the following like visual. So the people that have like a low intent, so let's say the people that like your comment or two messages you want to send, the 50-50 and the quick check-in, I'm going to show them in a minute, or sorry, in a second almost. The people that have like, let's say the view your profile are commenting, they're moderate, you want to send them these messages, you see it becomes then very actionable. Like, okay, the people that like my post, I send this message. The people that view my profile or comment, I send this message. The people that connect with me or are new followers, I do this, right? So then it becomes like a system. Like you hear me talk a lot about systems, how we can work smarter and not just harder. And this is definitely one, because people always say to me like, hey, I don't know how to do outreach. Nothing's working. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to stop it. Most often that's because they just don't have a system. They just literally just wing it. And winging stuff on the internet, whether it's content creation or sending DMs, you have to just rely on motivation all the time. Why not build a system that can help you do this off much better? So one of my favorite messages to send, and I'm just going to be super transparent here with you. This is not something I usually share, so just pay attention. This is a 50-50 message, and this is just something that works really well because you give people two options. Like, hey, talking to the majority of these people, I learned one thing. 50% want to learn how to build an efficient content system. 50% want to have a better way to convert the leads. Why does this work? Well, it's inclusive. It's a sense of understanding. It's easy to answer. It's either like A or B. But I know that both answers lead to the same solution. And I allow people to self-identify instead of me assuming that they fall into a certain group. So this one is super important. So if you don't know what to send, start with a 50-50. Then the other one, number two, the quick check-in. You can use this for people that are a little bit more like, let's say, this is for people with a lower intent, like let's say likes or some profile views. Here's people that might fit your target audience and like, okay, let me just be a little bit more specific, more direct. Personalized acknowledgement. So you stop by my profile, appreciate that. Open-ended question with a specific outcome. How are you currently using LinkedIn to acquire high-ticket clients for your business? So I'm just poking. I'm like, hey, Tell me more. Like, I see you kept to my profile. You know I post about all these things. I'm curious. How are you using LinkedIn? Tell me more, right? So it's a quick check-in, which leads to a conversation. I'm not pitching straight away. And then last but not least, the third message you can send is what I call the value share. And you can send this to people that are, I would say, a bit more high intent. You can even send this to inbound leads, right? Because you're like, hey, the clear value proposition and benefit. Hey, we do this for founders so they can stop relying on word of mouth, etc. It's a call to action, to free resource. I'm just building trust. And I'm like, hey, if you ever want me to set this up or have another question, tell me. And the guy replied like, hey mate, let's chat. I'm in Melbourne though. Here's my email. So we set up a call. So this is the first message. I'm like, hey, thanks for the connect. Appreciate it. Here it is. Good luck with it. Tell me if you need more. And he booked a call, right? So again, all these messages, they serve a purpose and they can be used at your disposal. So I know it's a lot already. I talked a lot about outreach. There is a way that, like I created a GPT specifically to help me with DMs. If that's something that you want to like dive into, if you want to see how that works, I created a short 5-minute video that you can access. So comment GPT below, and then we send you the training in the next few hours. And then I'm going to finish my cold tea. Awesome. Let me, in the meantime, check the chat to see if I missed something. Okay, I'll just tackle the questions later. So yeah, guys, outreach is tackled. Like I said, it's going to be a big session, so we spent quite some time on the outreach. So let's now go into the end process. Let's close the chat, otherwise I get distracted. All right. So with the DM process, again, people, like I said in the beginning, people fail to do this consistently because they don't have a system. They get a message and like, oh shit, I don't know what to send. Like LinkedIn DMs ain't rocket science. Like follow a proven system, put in the reps, and you will see the results. So the 7 steps to book more calls via DMs. The first one is just to figure out the current situation. Like Hermosi said is perfect. You can't sell anything without understanding. Like you have to understand what the pain point, what the current situation, what the obstacles, what the objections, everything is from your prospect, from your lead to the other end. Like how else you can sell them something, right? So step number 1, figure out their current situation. Step number 2 is to find or figure out their ideal situation. So, okay, I get you're frustrated and in pain, but where do you want to go? Simple example is someone is like 20 kg overweight, current situation, can't play with their kids, is short out of breath. Ideal situation is like, hey, I want to lose this excessive body weight so I can train with my kids, run, do all these things. Okay, now I get it. Pain, pleasure. Very simple, right? So those are the 2 steps, and most people already have this up because they're like, hey, I want to go into pitching and selling the client. I'm like, dude, figure out where they are right now, figure out where they want to go. Just it's that simple. Like most people already fuck up here. Step number 3 is this is an interesting one because as you're figuring out where they are, as you're figuring out where they want to go, you also need to figure out what they've already tried so far. So to apply this to my situation. So whenever I'm speaking to a lead, I'm like, hey, tell me more about your business. So I'm figuring out about the current situation. I'm like, hey, how do you currently get clients for your business? Then secondly, I'm like, okay, hey, cool, sounds good. Thanks for sharing that. Tell me more. How many clients do you ideally want to close per month on LinkedIn or any other channels, and how would you do it? Okay, then I get some information. And then in step number 3, I would be like, okay, how have you tried to get clients before? Oh yeah, I did paid advertisement, but it didn't work. Or oh yeah, I did affiliate marketing, but it also didn't work. Or yeah, now I'm just currently sending so many messages a day, or I put as a content, but it's all very hard. Cool. You see, I ask the right questions, I get input. Then after this, after step number 3, is you want to know what they dislike and frustrate them, because this is the beauty of this. Like you already know this because they're telling that here. Because someone is in a position of pain, they want to go to a position of pleasure. You ask them what they've tried so far to get from A to B, but clearly they're still in A because they're talking to you. And at the same time, they're talking, like I said, they're telling you what they've tried so far. You find out what they dislike and frustrate them. Like I said in the example that I just shared with you, when I talk to people that have tried content and outreach and all these things, like, yeah, LinkedIn does not work for me. I have a special business, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm like, is it? Or is it that you just don't have the right system in order to make it work, right? So figure out what they dislike and frustrates them, because then that makes a case, right? So part of the DM process, assess if you can help them succeed. So whenever you're talking to a lead, let's get back to the fitness example. Someone someone is overweight, someone wants to lose weight, someone tells you that they've tried keto or intermittent fasting or started running 7 days a week. Then they tell you that they hate keto because they love carbs, that they frustrated because their knee hurts from the running. But then you're like, oh damn, I'm not a personal trainer, so I can't help them, right? Of course, I'm exaggerating here, but in step number 5, in like the 7 steps of booking more calls, you want to figure out if there is a fit. Like, are you able to help the person on the other hand? Like, do you have the assets? Like, do you have the skill set to help them? And do they have the money, the time, the resource, etc., in order for you to come in to work with them and to make a success? Super, super important, because only if you know that, you can go into the step number 6. Hey, this is the plan. This is how I'm thinking how I can get you from A to B. This is how I'm going to work. Sounds good? And if they then like yes or no, then you go into step number 7 and you invite them to book a call. So like you said, you build up. Like, people are like, oh, I can't book calls. And I'm like, hey, just follow the recipe. Step by step by step by step. Like I said, it's not rocket science. It's just like knowing what to do when, right? And this is just something that you get better at with rinse and repeat. As I'm just presenting to you guys, I can just rim off these examples out of my head, because I've done so many of these conversations. I could just like go through them, but that doesn't mean that it's easy for you. So if you want to know what exact messages to send, we have a LinkedIn DM course, which is totally free, of course. It's built on Notion. And if you want to get access to that, so that has a 7-step protocol with exact examples of what to send, what questions to send, also examples of me, how I did certain things. Like in the course, we have a few like DM closes where you can see the complete flow from A to Z, where you can basically see, okay, this is how the lead came in, and literally till payment. So you can see the whole flow. And here's a disclaimer, guys. No one LinkedIn DM conversation is the same. Nada. But there is, of course, a system to follow. You always have to figure out where they are. You always have to figure out what their ideal situation is. You always have to do, like, you have to do all these steps. But sometimes when I ask someone, hey, tell me more about your business, they tell me their business, but they also tell me where they want to go. And they also tell me what they already tried. And they also tell me what they dislike in one message, right? I had those conversations. So then you're not a robot. You not just can copy paste the script. That's why DM scripts is just rubbish, because every conversation is different. That's also why AI does not fully do DM closing yet, because there's so many nuances. And the thing with this is, like, booking calls through DMs, booking calls through chat just requires nuance. And besides this course, this is also something, of course, we teach in our program, because like I've put in the reps. I've seen thousands of chats. So I know exactly when our clients come to us like, hey, Jesse, I'm stuck with this chat. I know exactly what to say, or at least I know exactly which direction to steer the conversation in, because I've put in the reps. So if you're in the position now that you're like, hey, I need to book more chats via DMs, get this resource. And that brings me to the following big part. It's very unsexy because people hate follow-ups. But again, it's crucial. So in this part, I'm going to go over follow-up systems. And why do follow-ups matters? Well, people, first of all, are busy. Like, I don't know how your LinkedIn inbox looks, but mine is most of the times just a mess. So if people are busy, their notifications, they don't show, they're picking up the kids, working, etc. So they won't always reply instantly or in time. Follow-ups are essential of building strong personal relationships on LinkedIn and essentially eventually to close people and book calls, etc. They also help you stand out, demonstrate your commitment, and increase your chance of success. So as you can see in this example here, we had to follow up a few times. I think the guy came into, we started chatting, I think in end of April. He signed up June 12th. So I think like 53 days later, I had to follow up a few times, send a few more resources. Like above this, we already made the offer, and then we just resent the video, just signed up for it, this, excited to join. Right? Follow up. If I wouldn't have followed up, I wouldn't have closed that deal. And it's not just me that gets these results. So Gabrielle, one of our top students in the program, this sounds beautiful. More than just the money she made, I'm like, this makes me so happy to read. A very important lesson to learned. The money is in the follow-ups, and I'm like, spot on. It's literally the title of one of the sections in the program. The money is in the follow-ups, because the amount of money that people have sitting in their DMs, but just afraid of following up for the following reasons is just absolutely crazy. So the power of follow-ups. We have tested many different formats over the last few years, and at this point we have 6 types that I wouldn't say always work, but they work like an absolute charm. So for example, one of the things that we can use is whenever we send a resource, like in case in this, we sent this guy, this lead, a video about me breaking down the program and how it could benefit his business. And then they're like, hey brother, curious if you can count your program we'd like to see pass. Let me know if you have seen the video, which is also written here. Curious if you checked out the videos. That's research that trained. So I'm referring to something that happened before. So it's a gentle follow-up. It's like a nudge in the right direction. I'm not chasing their asses. I'm just like, hey, did you check out the thing that I've sent before? And like I said, I didn't pitch slap them that video in the first messages. In the first message, if you think back of the 7-step framework, it's a layered approach. Like I don't propose on the first date, right? You don't do that in DMs. You don't do that in real life. So you just literally want to like build up momentum, and the follow up can happen at every stage, because literally people can stop texting after you have been like, let's say, figuring out like step 3, like what have they tried so far. They can stop talking to them. So you still have to follow up each stage to make sure that people move down the pipeline. Again, follow-ups is something that I can talk about for hours. Even though it's unsexy for most people, it's where most of the money is made. So we've created our 6-step follow-up system, which is also hosted in Notion. And if you want to get access to that because you want to see how to follow up like a king or queen, comment system, and I'll send it to you. Awesome. All right, guys. I've talked a lot about outreach. I've talked a lot about the end process. I've talked about follow-ups. And this is all part of the exact system that has helped one of our guys, Michael, super proud of this result. Like we worked together for 12 weeks. We helped this align his content with his target audience, generate results, give him the tools. And he literally just landed customers with a lifetime value of 7 figures. Like he runs like a software agency. Super cool. Like imagine the ROI on that. That's huge. This is also the system. I shared her example before from the community, Gabriella. She got her dream leading bout, and in the beginning, it's like, hey, can you help me manage the conversation? I gave her the tips, the tools, the tactics, the strategies. A few weeks later, she's like, hey, boom, I closed 15,000 euros. Absolutely amazing, right? Like, I love making money, but I love it even more when the people that I work with make money, right? So that's about the impact. Tobias, I shared this one, I think on Monday as well. So if you're there, you can see it again. He was doing great. He knew how to create content with 50 to 150 likes, which was basically like the soft content with like him sitting on the beach drinking margarita while he was living in Asia. But as soon as he did something valuable, he gets no likes, no reach. Basically have a hard time hitting second and third connections. We worked together. We optimized his profile. We helped him with like the lead gen strategy. We helped him build trust through client-focused content. 20 weeks later, he's like, dude, I've probably made around like 50K in contract values. But the more interesting part is how thick my pipeline is. I probably have like 15-ish ICP deals in my pipeline. And for context, he works with his clients for 3 to 9 months. And so every partnership is like huge. It's like 15 to 40K or something. So he has like a pipeline with like a few $100,000. Plus on the front end, he has like 50K of contracts closed. It's absolutely nuts. Just by implementing the LinkedIn system and just following on the steps that I gave him. Like, hey, dude, your content is doing well, but we need to tweak a few things. And 20 weeks later, he's like, dude, this is just full. My pipeline is full. I don't know what to do with the leads. Again, I love winning myself, but seeing my clients win is even more is even more valuable for me. So as I'm wrapping up, there's something I want to share with you guys here today. So if you made it to the end of the situation, or sorry, the end of the presentation, I want to make you an offer. So with our Authority Figures program, we help you get to 10K plus months. And as you saw from the client results before, sometimes even more, usually even more. But we help you get to 10K plus months consistently. This week we're launching, we're going live fully, and we offer you a 30% discount for the next few people to join. This is limited to the first 10 spots. Why 10 spots? Because we want to guarantee personal approach. So a big part of the program is also the one-on-one support with myself, not with someone else. But if you join the program, you get access to me through Slack, but you also have the opportunity to book a one-on-one call every month. Besides that, we have the program built out in school. We have the community. We have people like Gabriella, like just absolutely kill it. So there's a lot of like cross collaboration there. So if that sounds like something you want to learn more of, and you want to like book a chat, we're dropping the link to book a chat in the chat. That's a weird sentence. So if you want to book a chat with us, look in the comment section where I drop the chat link, and then we can just have a situation to see how this works for your business. And if you want to start working with us, getting your profile up to speed, your content up to speed, dialing on your system, and helping you to get to 10K plus months on LinkedIn consistently.